Hey, Walter Sorrells back with more tips for the knife maker. Today, making a knife maker's vise. So I'm a little embarrassed to admit that after making knives for almost 20 years, I actually don't own a knife maker's vise. Now, this is in large part because my specialty for many years was in the Japanese sword realm, and it wasn't really necessary for that kind of work. But still, incredibly handy, and today we're going to go ahead and correct that oversight. So knife makers' vises are a kind of family of vise designs that are used to hold knives so that you can articulate them in various ways while you're working on those knives. You can rotate them and move them into various angles, horizontal, vertical, whatever. Now, there are a number of fairly complicated knife makers' vise designs around, but what we'll do today is the most simple, easy, dumb version possible. It took me about an hour to make, and I just feel like, hey, why didn't I do this a long time ago? All right, let's jump right on into it. I'm starting with a 1¼ inch ID pipe nipple. This one's galvanized, but if you're going to use plumbing pipe, I recommend black iron pipe. I hate all things galvanized for reasons I'll mention in a minute. Of course, you don't have to use plumbing pipe. If you have a piece of thick-walled 1½ to 2 inch tube, that would be great too. The key thing here is that your pipe needs to be thick enough that you can thread some holes where there's enough meat that the threads won't strip out after being used 2 or 3 times. I'll begin by cutting the threaded portions off with a hacksaw. Okay, no, screw that. I'm going to use my abrasive chop saw. Which brings up one of the many reasons I hate galvanized. What makes galvanized galvanized is that it's coated with zinc, and zinc fumes are poisonous. So, I'm wearing a high quality respirator while cutting this on the chop saw, and I'm working in a well ventilated space. Next, I'll take a dowel that's just large enough to slide comfortably through the pipe and split it in half on my bandsaw. I'll flatten the faces and also flatten one side of the dowel on my belt grinder. Then I'll attach a piece of Delrin plastic to the flat using epoxy intended for plastic. An adjustment screw will bear here, and this will keep the screw from chewing up the face of the dowel. You could substitute a strip of aluminum, brass, mild steel, whatever. Or, in the spirit of this super cheap tool, you could just skip this entirely and replace the dowel whenever it gets chewed up a little. If you really want to get slap happy and show what a tool whore you are, you can route or mill out a channel and then inlay the bearing surface into the dowel. But that would be just showing off. By the way, you can also make multiple jaw inserts with different internal faces so that you can hold the handle of a knife, you can hold round, stock, whatever. Next, I'll measure the pipe against the jaws of my vise. I need clearance for the adjustment screws so the vise can rotate freely without being held up on the adjustment knobs. Next, I'll use a couple of machinist's parallels to assure that the pipe is held perfectly horizontal to my drill. And I'll use a number 7 drill to drill a hole for a 1/4 20 tap. Next, I'll tap the pipe for the threads, which will be used for the adjustment screw. In go a couple of 1/4-20 threaded adjustment knobs. Oh, but of course one of the knobs that I pulled out of the 1/4-20 bin at Lowe's is in fact a 5/16 18 screw. If you're that guy who goes to the hardware store and takes out all the 1024 screws and then throws them back in the 832 bin, I hope you know there's a special section of hell reserved just for you. I mean, could I have read the label on the little bag that the knob came in? Yeah, but since I never screw up by process of simple deductive reasoning, it must be somebody else's fault. Having shaken off the psychic wound of spending $2.97 on the wrong knob, I can still go ahead and test out the vise. Did I forget to mention? Bro, we're done here. This is it. We've got a working vise. See? Works great, even with only one knob. Well, one last thing. I was thinking of painting it with an Eddie Van Halen guitar type theme, clear coating it, and yeah, no. Tactical black. And here's the final product. Okay, why didn't I make one of these years ago? Great tool, ton of things you can do with it. Hand sanding blades, filing decorative file work, or jimping, finishing up handles, tying paracord, you name it. Okay, so why didn't I make one of these things years ago? As soon as I got done with it, I was like, this is a great tool. There's a ton of stuff that you can do with it. Hand sanding, filing decorative file work, jimping, finishing the handle, tying paracord. I mean, you name it. There's a ton of stuff you can do with it. Very, very versatile. Even this super simple, super dumb kind of approach that I took today, you know, I can just immediately see that there a million ways I can use it. Can you make a more elaborate one? Yeah, but I gotta say, for something as stupid, simple, and ugly as this is, it works freaking great. Really dumb little tool, but like I always say, dumb ain't always stupid. Hey guys, if you found value in this video, I hope you'll consider partnering with the channel to help us bring more videos, better videos, more knives, more techniques, all that cool stuff. Click the link to Patreon to help this channel. Also, if you haven't subscribed yet, bro, what are you waiting on? And check me out on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, all that good stuff. Also, if you're into Japanese swords, check out my website, waltersorrellsblades.com, where you'll see more of my work and where you'll find videos about the making of Japanese swords, along with mounting, fittings, polishing, hamones, all kinds of good stuff. Now, more videos.